Hey everyone, Johnny B here. Today, I'm going to give you some advice and tips and what to expect for the BTS Love Yourself World Tour. So let's get right into it. So a little quick thing just to get out of the way. This is what I just held in the beginning right here. This is the program book that I bought from the merchandise store at the Fan Experience. Basically, if you ever bought an album and you've seen that they have the photo books, this is basically the same thing, just a little bigger, but this is specifically about the World Tour. So basically, you have your photos, little photos, back to behind the scenes photos and things like that. Little sketches that they probably made, more photos, things like that, and little profiles and little like Q&As that they had too. I'll probably in a separate video go through this more in depth, but for now, that's all you get to see. So I went through YouTube comments and looked through what people had questions about, and I looked at the Bangtan subreddit and see what questions people had about going to concert and kind of wrote them down, and hopefully I could try to answer most of the questions people have, and if I don't remember, comment down below and I'll try to answer it to the best I can. So the biggest questions I got from people asking is like, what time should I arrive? Now it's going to be different from city to city and from day to day, but at least for LA, going to Staples Center, I've gone there for other concerts, Laker games, and things like that. And for me, I know what time I should arrive because Los Angeles traffic in LA is ridiculously horrible. Now the concert was at 8 o'clock, and if you're planning to, you want to get there at 5 or 6, and you want to leave at like around that time, bad decision, because it's gonna take you, at least from where I'm from, it would take me at least 2 hours to sit in traffic to get through. Now it helps that I had my girlfriend with me and we got to use the carpool lane, but we left at around 3 o'clock and got there at 4. Now keep in mind the concert starts at 8 o'clock, so we were there 4 hours early. But our plan was to get there as early as possible, get our tickets, because our tickets were at will call. I didn't want them mailed to me just because I was afraid they might get lost in the mail and things like that, or someone might steal them. So I just kept them on will call, pick them up later. Picking up the tickets was fine. It only took us, there was no line to pick up the tickets, so I just went right back to the box office and picked up my tickets, and it was totally fine. I bought my tickets from powerhouselive.net. They're a promoter for them. So instead of using Access, I used Powerhouse Live because Access was so much trouble trying to get tickets there. But we got legit tickets. We sat in section 102 in row 14. So if you look at my previous videos right here that I'm gonna pop up for you, that's how close we were. Okay, we could see them very clearly. I can make out their faces and things like that, and we had a good view of the screens, the choreography, and the way they were moving. We could see everything. So when we arrived, we were thinking about going to the Fan Experience for the merchandise and things like that, but seeing how people were already lining up at the doors to get into Staples Center, we're like, maybe we should line up too, and just in case, because we don't want to miss anything. Because for BTS, they started right on the dot. They started right at 8 o'clock. There was no like messing around. They really was on time. I've been to other concerts where if the showtime says it started at 8 o'clock, sometimes they didn't start till 9 o'clock. But with BTS, they really started right on time, so be there early. Another question that I get a lot is buying army bombs. Now for me, I bought it when Big Hit just said that they are selling them to the US now. So I pre-ordered them about on I think August 20th or something like that, and I received them a week later. So I had time to mess around with it and play with it and make sure everything was good, because I know some people get defective army bombs. So if you do get one in the mail that's defective, hopefully if you bring that one to the concert, you could probably exchange one for one that works. Hopefully, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if anyone's done that, but if you have, it would be good to know. If you're worried about army bombs selling out, don't, because they were selling them everywhere. They were selling them outside the venue. They're selling them inside the venue, almost at every entrance. So if you need an army bomb, get one. They are $55, not cheap, but I know some people who were sitting in the stadium haven't seen other people play with them. They just got up and went and get one themselves. Because it's just really fun to be part of the audience and just fan chanting of your army bomb, and the lights are all synced up and everything. So now, we started lining up around, I think, 4:30 or so, we started lining up to get into the stadium, and it took us maybe 15-20 minutes to get into the stadium because you gotta get through security and things like that. Now with security, the only thing we were worried about bringing in was our little point and shoot camera, because in an email recently and even signs posted around Staples Center, it said that they were very strict on no cameras allowed. So we were like, maybe they meant professional cameras like a DSLR that had a big lens and everything like that, but it said no cameras whatsoever. From what I've heard from other Army fans, like it all depends on the security guards. Sometimes some will be cool with it, some will not. We got brought in our camera. We were able to get through security with that. We didn't end up using it because I was using, as you can see from the footage right now, I ended up using my iPhone to record in 60 FPS to record a concert, because I think it was just a little easier to hold up my phone than a camera. And I didn't want it to be holding so many things at once, so that's what I did. And then as we sat down, we had about 2 hours to kill. So I figured, okay, this is a good time to eat. Because if we don't eat now, I know there's going to be no time during the concert to get up, line up for food, and then come back, sit down, and eat. Because that takes at least a good hour. When I went to get food, it was around 5 o'clock already. I went to stand in line. It took maybe 20 minutes to stand in line to get food. Ordered nachos, hot dogs, and a drink. Keep in mind, this is Staples Center and this is stadium pricing. So all that you would think would be pretty cheap, but no. It was pretty expensive. I think we spent $30 just on food. And it was just a hot dog and nachos. So if you can and you have time, eat beforehand, eat good, drink a lot of water too, okay? And also wear very comfortable clothing, because you're going to be standing the whole 2.5 hours of the concert. There are times where you're going to be able to sit down, because they're going to be playing some VCRs, which are pre-recorded videos where they're introducing like the guys and stuff like that. It gives them time to change and rest. So maybe you'll have in between, there's probably a few times where you'll be standing for maybe 20 minutes, and then you'll sit for another 5, and then stand up for another 20, sit for another 5. But still, I would recommend bringing very comfortable shoes. Another thing I would recommend bringing, even if you don't have hearing problems, is earplugs. Like with me, I don't really have hearing problems, but it's not that the concert and the music was loud itself, it's just the screaming all around you. Like when everyone just screams very high pitched, you'll hear a ringing in your ears. So luckily I bought earplugs, and I'll list the ones that I actually bought down below from Amazon. All it does is that it keeps the noise level down. Everything still sounds the same. It doesn't sound too muffled. It just keeps the noise level down a little bit. If you'd like to have that high, booming bass or booming sounds in your ears, go for it. But I'm warning you, having ear problems or tinnitus is not a fun thing. So I would really highly recommend getting earplugs. It did not ruin my experience at all. I was able to hear everything very clearly, so get on that. If you're worried about going alone, don't. I think around us, there's probably maybe a couple people around me that went alone, and they looked like they were having the time of their life. Because eventually, the ones who were going alone, they made friends with the people around them, and they became Army friends. Like, how cool is that? Everyone's very welcoming, everyone's very nice. Just be respectful, be considerate of others around you, and you'll be fine. Don't worry about going alone. It's like, it's just a concert. No one's going to be paying attention to you. They're going to be paying attention to the boys. So just go up there, have fun, dance, sing along, chant along, whatever you want to do. If you're going alone, do not worry about it. Go alone if you can. Let's see, what else did I forget? Bag size. My girlfriend has a small backpack, what girls usually use now. As long as it's, I think the dimensions are 14 by 14 by 16, something like that. As long as it's under that, you'll be fine. They'll have a little chart on the table before security where you can put your bag on top of it, and as long as it fits within that square, you're fine. Just don't bring like a duffel bag or huge backpack, things like that. Okay, so before the concert ever starts, they're gonna be playing music videos on the screens, and for us that was a great time to get people hyped up to practice their fan chanting. as we're eating. As you can see in the videos, like everyone's setting up their army bombs or their fan chanting. So it's very fun just to before the concert even starts. They'll be during that time too. They'll post videos on how to set up your army bomb. It's rather easy. All you gotta do is download the BTS Lightstick version 3 app, and then get some batteries onto your army bomb. You'll slide the button down. It'll be blinking blue. Connect to your phone, enter your SIM number, and you'll be fine. The only problem I had was that once I connected it, I was wondering why I wasn't sync with everybody. So I didn't know that you had to, after you connect it, you gotta slide the button back up to sync with everybody. If you have any trouble, just ask people around you. There's gonna be tons of people who got theirs working, so don't be afraid to be like, hey, how'd you get yours to work? They'll gladly help you. Everyone's very friendly. And then speaking of army bombs, when you're having it up here and like waving it, be considerate of everyone around you, because at least at Staples Center, the seats were pretty packed in, and when you're standing, there's really not much room for you to like extend your arms or anything. So if you're doing this and stuff, be mindful of the people behind you, in front of you, on the sides, because you don't want to be having a good time, and then swinging it around, and someone gets an army bomb to their head. So be careful of that. When we got there, we were walking from the parking lot to Staples Center. There was a lot of people camping out already. We thought it was the same people who were camping out for the GA pit for that day, but they're actually camping out for the next day's concert. So they're basically already camping out 24 hours beforehand already to get ready to go to the pit. And then speaking of the pit, it looked like you didn't really have to camp out because there's still a lot of space in the pit. It wasn't packed. It was only packed up against the railing. So if you really want to get up and close to the boys, as you can probably search on YouTube for like other fan cams where people are in the pit, they were up close, but they were camping out for over 24 hours. So if that's your thing and you want to do that, go right ahead. But expect a lot of pushing, a lot of close hunting. So if you're claustrophobic, maybe pit's not a good idea because everyone looked like they were packed in there. Also, speaking of the pit, if you're able to stand and not have any rest, by all means do that too. My girlfriend, she brought a jacket thinking it would be cold in Staples Center. It was a little bit, but once it started filling up with more people and people were like body heat, dancing around, things like that, it actually started getting a little warm. I wouldn't say it got too hot. With me, I don't like heat, and I know how hot it could get, but I was wearing joggers and a t-shirt and I was comfortable, but I did feel a little warm at times when like the AC was on full blast, but I was comfortable. Now with me, I've only been an Army fan I've only been Army for about maybe 6-7 months, so I haven't had time, so I don't really know them all too well. But with the Love Yourself album, I did try my best to try to learn the lyrics and the fan chants, but don't worry if you don't. Everyone else isn't too worried if you're not chanting in front of them. Just do what you want to have fun. I didn't really fan chant. I actually sang along with the music because it was more fun that way. I didn't want to just wait and be like fan chanting. I wanted to sing along the lyrics because that's, for me, was having fun. I didn't really lose my voice afterwards, but my mouth was dry, so be sure to have water. Another question was, were there any guest performances? Because usually LA is known to have guest performances because you have all the other celebrities and artists living there. But with BTS, they didn't have any guest performances. It was just them. Oh, and one thing. Fortunately for us, we live kind of 40 minutes away from LA. So since we didn't go to the fan experience and buy any merchandise the day of the concert, we actually went back on Saturday to check out what they had. Unfortunately, by the time we got there on Saturday, I think it was around 1 o'clock, and they were closing at 5 o'clock that day. Almost everything was sold out. All their t-shirts were sold out, all the hoodies, the bandanas, the scarves, not the photo cards, because we bought photo cards and we bought the lenticular set and in the program book as well, but majority of everything was sold out. And there wasn't a line to buy this stuff because, like I said, everything was sold out. So maybe people were like, okay, maybe not worth it. The one thing that was a long line, there's a thing on the side that's called BTS Studio, and people are lining up to make, you're in front of a green screen. From what I heard, we asked some fans, you're in front of a green screen and you just make like a little message to them. What the girls said, though, they probably don't think they'll ever watch it, so it was whatever, but they still did it just in case. Now for us in LA, there's actually a Lions Friends store. It's in Hollywood, which is about half an hour drive from Staples Center. what we were thinking is like, since a lot of people are out of town too, they're probably thinking, oh, you should hit up the Line Friends store and buy some BT21 stuff for the concert. What we did not expect, since we've been there before and it wasn't packed, this time it was packed. The line went down the street and around the corner, and we looked at it, we're like, we asked some people, they said they were in line for an hour or so, but it looked like it was gonna be in line for like 2 hours and 3 hours, because it was not moving fast, and they were letting people in maybe by tens and stuff like that. So we did not go in the store to buy anything, but we don't mind, because since we live close and apparently the Line Friends store is going to be open till October, we figured it was going on another day where the concert's not going on and a whole bunch of people are having the same idea. So if you live in the area, you want to go to the BT21 store, go on any other day now since the concerts are over. For the concert itself, everyone was cheering for everybody, but what was surprising for us, the one who got a lot of cheers was Jin. When he was performing for Epiphany, people were chanting his name, they were singing along, it was amazing. But the one who probably got the most all around was probably V, who is actually my bias too. Because as my girlfriend says, like, he's probably the most handsome or most pretty. Like, no matter what hair color or what he does or whatever he dresses, he always looks good. For me, he was my bias because when Singularity came out, I just loved the whole R&B vibe, and it was amazing. So yeah, that's basically everything I wrote down. Let me see if there's anything else that people might have asked. One more question was probably if you haven't bought tickets from Access or Powerhouse Live because they're sold out, there's other places like StubHub to buy them. Now I know, now for me, I've always bought when I buy Laker tickets and other concert tickets, I bought at StubHub before. I've never had a problem with them. I've always gotten my tickets. I even sold on StubHub before, never had a problem with that. So it's up to you if you want to buy from them. I know they're not always great. Some people have had bad experiences with them, but me personally, I've bought a lot of tickets from them and never had one little problem with them. And I know the prices are going to be overpriced on StubHub, but if it's something you really want to do, it is a once in a lifetime opportunity, so go for it. I have heard though, the day of the concerts, the prices do go down a lot, so if you want to wait for that, go ahead. I mean, it's cutting it close, but you can do that. And also on Access or even on Twitter, they do say when they release official tickets off the official sellers' websites, so pay attention to those, because sometimes they'll re-release those tickets from radio shows that weren't able to give out everything, or from groups that weren't able to give out tickets, and they'll re-release that to the public. But for the most part, I think that's it. If I didn't answer any of the questions that you might have, make sure to comment below. I'm pretty active in reading everyone's comments, so I will answer your question to the best that I can if I know it. If not, hopefully someone else can. But with that, thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for all the new subscribers the past weekend and all the views I've been getting. It's been very helpful, especially with all the questions you guys have been asking. So let me know how this is. Let me know how I'm doing. I love the feedback. And I hope all you guys enjoy the video. Enjoy the concert if you're going. And hey, have a good day, guys. See ya.